All right, welcome back to Biashara Tuesday. We just had a very wholesome conversation with a governance expert who's also an advocate, Mr. Philip, who just left off air here. He's informed us on how the third liberation would look like if the youth were serious about participation in matters of governance and also matters of elections. Voter apathy is not something that only happens in Kenya, it happens worldwide. But he says, remember, the decision not to vote is also a decision. It also does count towards that election process. So once you've not voted, you've already made a decision on how that election is going to go. So it's better if you vote. That is one step for us getting closer to that third liberation. We should be very aggressive in reading out corruption, in getting the youth as a space in these conversations, and also in trying to turn around our democracy to be functioning, a functioning democracy. Right, now this is time for us to have a look at the newspaper. The newspaper review section is now live to you. Grab yourself a copy of the dailies. They are still at 60 shillings before they shoot up due to taxes anytime soon. So grab yourself a copy and tuambie what you're seeing from your end, what your reactions are. If you have any other, we have with us here the Daily Nation and the Standard. So if you have any other, please do have a look at that and let us know what it says. But just to introduce the gents who are with me here on set, I have Richard Odero, I have Kemboi Felix, and I have our very own journalist, Ojwang Mariam. Because he's our very own, I'd like him to go first, and then we get the guests to introduce themselves individually. We were yesterday here on the show with Ojwang Mariam. Na feel kama tumekuwa pamoja sana bro. I hope tutachokana.
First of all, I've loved that conversation on politics, governance. It was wholesome vile umesema, and kama umekosa hiyo tafadhali please ensure kwa hii live unarudi tu nyuma kidogo or wait tuingia hapo tu bado YouTube, you will watch the whole conversation. We are live at KUTV_Kenya. Richard Okenye, I'd like to say hi to our viewers and especially the people of Roysambu constituency and to remind them that we are live, we are doing newspaper review. Itakuwa tamu tena zaidi. The Standard wanasema don't gamble with the tax. We'll be telling them why. Thank you so much.
All right, asante sana Ojwang, and welcome back to the show. That's Ojwang Mariam. You can check him out every Monday, by the way, on Art and Culture Monday, where he also does this kind of discussions and much more to help out our culture and our artists in general. Next to him is Bwana Kemboi. Welcome to the show. Please do justice to your introduction.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I'm Felix Kimgetich Mongo. I come from Baringo County, and also I'm a youth leader from Baringo, and I'm very great to be in KUTV today.
All right.
Thank you.
Asante sana. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And we have my namesake just right next to me. Just the first time we have another Richard on this show. Welcome, Richard.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Richard. My name is Richard Odero. I'm a youth leader. I'm the founder of Youth Space Kenya. We empower the youth. We do political mentorship, economic mentorship to our youth. I also empower the student leaders across the country.
All right, that's what you're up to with Youth Space.
Yeah.
Youth Space Kenya. Yeah. Maybe just a bit of the things that you guys talk about to let our viewers also be aware.
Okay, under Youth Space, we have created a platform where we put our minds together as youth, where we discuss the issues around the country. We try to empower, whereby we talk the issues affecting us on daily basis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Civic education, just like we are doing it here on this show.
Yeah.
Asante sana. The relevant people to have on this show. Now let's go on. The Daily Nation says here on the headlines, and we'll have the gents also with a copy each, and Ojwang Mariam will be guiding us with the Standard. Harsh reality of new varsity fees. HELB has not been allocated adequate funds to issue loans to all students, and now students and their families are being forced to choose a university course that they can afford rather than the one they qualify for and aspire to study. Yesterday, we had a discussion with Ojwang Mariam on what this problem looks like. If we have students who are qualified to do certain courses, but they can't do them because of the new funding model, one, and because of HELB, which has not been allocated. It has pushed most of those who did their KCSE last year to pursue courses that they qualify, they other courses that they cannot afford, that they can afford rather than the ones they qualify for. Yani mtu anaweza enda medicine school, but because they cannot afford to do that, they'd rather do something that they afford. This has posed a lot of challenges, of course, as we discussed yesterday, and more of what we are going to talk about here. The Daily Nation says that meanwhile, first year students who are first to use this new model have already accumulated huge fee balances, which are set to increase even further as they progress. This story is there on page 7 of the Daily Nation. I'd like to bring in first Ojwang Mariam because we had a discussion and he has had time to marinate and think upon the issues.
That reminds me that the AI somehow listens. Jana we talked about this same thing. Na imepewa kipaumbele katika gazeti la Daily Nation. Where are we headed as a nation in terms of matters education?
Yes.
Now, I have friends, Okenye.
Yes.
Na hao marafiki wangu, they are in the universities. Wengine wako KU, wengine wako UON. They are doing a bachelor's degree that we call bachelor degree education, and another one that is called bachelor's degree of arts. Mostly utasikia wakisema bachelor of being around. But these are talented doctors, talented engineers, talented lawyers. Umaskini ukafanya they can't afford that kind of fee, and they are forced to do courses that they don't have passion about. Ama mahali watakuwa tu placed na KUCCPS. If we continue doing like that, ndio unaona hata wengine wanachukua TVET, wanasema wacha mimi niende TVET badala niende nikateseka huko na maisha ya university. 10 years from now we'll have a reduced number of graduates from university. 20 years from now that kind of majority will have added up, and we will be a nation of nothing but foolish Kenyans if we don't take care.
Right.
Yeah.
Which means we're also not supporting our university institutions that are supposed to help in terms of research. And you can see how that general outlooks look like if we have a nation where we do not have scientists, we don't have researchers, we do not have experts, just like the gentleman who came off air here.
Yeah, and it's so sad that we are going through all this katika enzi ambayo tunaongozwa na rais ambaye ni hustler. Unajua Rais Ruto yeye alisomea UON na bibi yake Mama Rachel Ruto alisomea KU. Wote hawa walisoma kwa sababu ya HELB. Now wao kuingia katika ofisi ile kuu zaidi kwa sababu hiyo ndio ofisi ya kibazu, ofisi ya rais. Alafu unabadilisha funding model, alafu inakuwa ni ngumu kwa hawa watoto kusoma. Watoto wa mafukara, watoto kama wewe ukiwa mdogo, watoto wa mama mboga kama wewe ukiwa mdogo, wengine walikuwa wanauza kuku wakiwa wadogo ndio wasome. Wamekosa sasa masomo kwa sababu they can't afford it.
Right.
You are setting a very bad precedent.
Felix.
Yes.
Here on page 7 of the Daily Nation, it says some 134,743 candidates have been placed in public universities this year. A total of 47,872 students who qualified for university admission after attaining a mean grade of C+ in last year's KCSE did not choose any degree course. Yani wao walisema I'd rather not select any university course given nikam hatuta afford anyway, so let me go try and do something else. Of these, 11,000 of them opted for diploma courses instead of degree courses, while 35,000 are still unaccounted for. I just want to also put in some context before I get your reaction on what you feel this is going to paint in terms of our education, our future in the country and education as well. Vile Ojwang Mariam amepeana outlook ya 10 years. In 10 years we'll have very few graduates from university. In 20 years it's going to be really bad because this will have graduated, there'll be parents of other children. It'll be a culture that, you know, mimi sikuenda university na achana na hiyo mambo, wacha tufanye vitu zingine. But there's one thing that President William Ruto did last week that makes this worse. When he came back from the United States, he met with the vice chancellors of various universities and told them to work towards scrapping what he calls useless courses. I wish I had yesterday's paper here with me. It had a detail of some of these useless courses, and we had a look at them, including some in university, in Kenyatta University, like biomedical engineering, which are not accredited by the Engineering Board of Kenya. We have other engineering courses across the country as well, which they are calling useless. When you see this kind of situation, as someone who's involved with the youth, how does the future look like for us?
Thank you very much, Richard.
Yeah.
You know, Richard, if you open a business, there's something known as return on capital.
Yes.
ROC, right? If you invest in university, you spend a lot of money obtaining that particular degree. At the end of 4 years, will you get the return of what you have invested? And
That's
remember, you are going to pay school fees for 4 good years. Besides school fees, there's some other expenses, hostel, food, and many other things, which is very much expensive. And with the current trends, I can see parents are now preferring their students to go to TVETs currently. Let me speak about Baringo, whereby we have an upcoming TVET that is aiming in TTI.
Yeah.
It's just a very new school, which it was opened, I think, 4 or 5 years ago. And if you look currently at the population now is very high. This is simply because it offers some very good courses, very marketable courses, in such a way that you only go there for 2 years, do your plumbing, do your electrical engineering, civil engineering, and those skills that you can just use your hand and get paid.
Yes.
And I can see now very many parents are preferring their students to go there.
Right.
Number one, because it is very cheap. You'll also find that like Baringo County funds TVETs. Each student joining TVET right now in most of these counties, number one, they are given 30,000 Kenyan shillings every financial year to study. What about university? How much do people pay for school fees? Very expensive.
Yes.
At the end, no return. You'll find now parents will start changing their minds. Also on HELB. HELB is very crucial. I'm one of the beneficiaries of HELB. It really assisted me on upkeep and very many other activities while I was in university. I'm a former student from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. I studied there for 4 years, and HELB really helped me. So the government should do something on HELB to make sure that students get this fund without fail.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let's come to Richard, who is also someone concerned with youth affairs in universities, as you said. The student population. The deputy president of the republic stood before graduating class of JKUAT, where you are at, and told them, you're graduating today, but wacha tu niwaambie ukweli kwamba out here you have no jobs. There's no jobs for you, right? And then we see this. There's cuts in terms of HELB, which is being allocated to students, the new funding model, which is affecting a lot of these students. Is this deliberate? If I was a student, I'd look at it finally that common phrase they say, a degree is useless. Ni kama government is trying to ensure that we don't pursue that. How do I balance this out as a student?
Okay, thank you. First, for me, I look at this point like this. First, we have an issue with the new model of funding. We really have a big issue on the way this thing was done.
Yes.
First, we had a poor piloting of the program. Because, like you see, the people talking, these people are used an old system.
Yes.
For example, the system that I learned is not the same that Ruto learned.
Yes.
So they think maybe because if you see the experience of Ruto, this guy alisoma, akakuwa chicken seller, akamaliza kuwa chicken seller, akakuwa MP. Now, for me, unataka niende shule, I don't need to go again to become a chicken seller.
Okay.
At least I need to do something.
So the problem is they want you to finish university and start that process like you did.
To follow their process. But now, for the people that maybe you have completed your course, you understand the way these things happen. Whereby you finish school, you have to pass through a process, you go to internship, you get work. Then I'll come to the issue of the funding of the courses.
Yes.
I think we have a problem with the funding of the courses. A really big problem. Because you cannot tell me that this course is useless. This is a good course. Which merit are you using to say that this is a useless course?
Which is a good one and which one isn't?
Because our president did, I think, biotech or what?
Yeah,
which course?
Something to do with ecology. Let me just
ecology.
pull it up.
I think it is ecology.
Yes.
Is he doing ecology now?
No. He's president. Yes. So do we consider his degree useless?
Yeah, maybe you can consider his degree useless. Okay. So I think we have to, because now this is a life of a person. A parent has used his money to educate this person. You can't say that this is a useless course. This is an important course.
Yes.
As a government, we need to come up with now mechanism to see that we absorb these people to the job market.
Right.
We also need now to ensure that we put the youth on this on the table. We discuss with them. Don't put these old people to discuss our issues.
Our funding models.
Our funding models.
I see. Because now the decisions which have been made here seem like not even parents were involved. Every parent is complaining, students are complaining. The only person who seems to feel like it's working is the president himself. I just wanted to ensure that we get that correct. President William Ruto graduated in botany and zoology. That was his undergrad, and then I think for his PhD thesis he looked at riparian lands, which are what is affecting us when it comes to heavy rainfall. But I want to read a very dire situation here that is there on the Daily Nation before we move away from matters of education. We have Joseph Raymond here, who wanted to become a human resource manager. However, Raymond was forced to drop his dream course, human resource management, because of financial constraint. He was initially selected to go to Maseno University. He had initially selected himself to go to Maseno University, where it's more affordable. But KUSPS placed him at Kisii University instead for a course that he did not choose, which is way more at 206,635. And this is a regular student, not even what we are normally used to as SSP or parallel programs. So it seems there was not much conversation happening when it came to this new funding model or what is happening with HELB. But niko na swali ambayo is very challenging, and it's coming from someone who is in TVET. I'm not going to disclose their name. Anasema mnalemea TVET kwani hawafai kusaidiwa. Shouldn't we boost TVET institutions as well? Shouldn't this be something we are celebrating, that, you know, maybe we should have more students go to, as you said, in Baringo, there's a TVET there, 2 years, return on investment. Should we celebrate this? Maybe we can begin with you.
First and foremost, currently, with the current trends of technology, what is very important in the real world currently is the technical skills, the skills that you have in your hand. And if you see, if somebody goes to a TVET, he does electrical engineering. He gets the skills on how to do wiring. You see? When he graduates, currently, if you see with the housing model, there's plenty of job opportunities. And if you see these people doing, for example, electrical engineering, they get paid something like a minimum of 1,500 shillings a day. What is 1,500 shillings a day multiplied by 30 days in a month? That's almost 45,000. You are a person, you have studied degree for about 4 years, spending a lot of resources, you go work in town here, earn 25,000. You see, that person from TVET is very much far away from you. In the next 5, you know, again, when they continue doing these skills, they gain a lot of experience. And thereby their skills grow every day. Okay. So you can see that TVET is very important nowadays.
Right.
Again, when you see, for example, currently, I think President William Ruto is in Korea. He said that he's going to look for these job opportunities. Do you think those people in South Korea can allow you go there with your degree in banking and finance, to be a teller in their banks? They cannot allow. What jobs will they give you? They'll give you those technical skills, the plumbing, the civil engineering, those masonry works. That's the kind of job they'll give you. And you go to a country like South Korea, these technical skills, they pay them a lot of money. That's why you'll find now very many Kenyans lining up in Nyayo House. Yeah.
Trying to export their skills. Yeah. Ojong Mariam, there's a question from a viewer, anasema, ni kama tunalemea TVET when we are saying, we are having less people enroll in degree courses in universities. Anauliza, mbona tusicelebrate kwamba watu wafurahi kwamba TVET finally zinaangaliwa, kuna watu wanaenda, we are churning out graduates. As is mentioned, we have technical skills which are faster to gain there and easier to market. Should we celebrate instead?
Thank you. TVETs sio mbaya, but the whole aspect ya vile tunazichukua ndo mbaya. Ya kwamba TVETs is an option, an alternative for failures, an alternative for poor people who cannot afford kuingia university and other institutions of higher learning. But tukichukua TVET as a bridge whereby after umemaliza your form 4, you've done your KCSE, unaweza ingia TVET yenye iko karibu. Sawa? Ufanye hizo course za plumbing, carpentry, masonry, alafu September uende university. But saizi hatufanyi hivyo. We are doing the whole opposite of telling our young students and Kenyans that you don't need that degree. Just go to TVET, ujifunze kazi ya mikono, ukue hustler, ukue mama mboga, ujue kuendesha bodaboda, and then you start hustling. Uingie hapo uhaso, Mungu akubariki upate watoto. Ufike miaka 40, utawahi enda university tena?
Au utajaribu?
Mtoto wako akikuja atakuwa akisoma kutoka kwako. These kids emulate. I look at my daughter, I change. But my daughter looks at me and wants to be me. Kwa hivyo kama mimi ni mwendeshaji bodaboda hodari, nimekuwa mpaka chairman wa bodaboda kwa mtaa, your son will want to be the same. That means your son will not see the need of wewe kuenda university. Na ndio nikasema 10 years watu wako university ama graduates watakuwa reduced. In 20 years itakuwa damage. Whether TVETs are good or are bad.
Okay.
But if we use them come a bridge, then we are making this country to be a very good country.
All right. I actually ties down with what Odero has said there, which was, we are not supposed to also follow the same path as President William Ruto did. And are we probably, maybe Richard, you can weigh in on that a bit before we move to the next thing. Are we creating a workforce for other nations? Kemboya alikuwa mentioned that ukienda South Korea, ukitaka kwenda South Korea, if you want to go to the US, technically, actually, size, if you go to social media and see people who are in the Gulf region, who are in the US, who are in these countries, what most people you see there are doing manual jobs, right? Manual tasks, handy skills. Are we creating a workforce for the nation? Ama tunatengenezea watu wengine huko nje? What do you see from that?
Okay, maybe I'll start with the viewers' remarks.
Yes.
And this is what I'll say. We are not beating that tunalemea TVET. The reality is this. In fact, the reality of life is this. For example, a person who has gone through TVET, he has done maybe a diploma in electrical engineering. You compare this person to a person who has done bachelor's in electrical engineering. These people, wakienda same interview, same job. Do you know this person who has done diploma will get a job?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because
this person has skills. So this is what I'm saying. It's not that TVET is this bad, but if I've done, I'm an engineer. I've graduated an engineer. I have a family. So will I raise my child to go through TVET and I see the seeds of engineering through going to the university?
Yes, you'll take them through university.
Then to your question about putting up a
workforce for the other nations.
I think in Kenya we are focusing more on exporting our labor than building our labor force here in Kenya.
Okay.
So we should be focusing on creating a room whereby investors will come, create job opportunity for us all. Yeah.
So that this workforce is working here
Is
in the
working
nation.
in Kenya.
I think my other proposal or proposition to the ministry would be equip the universities as much as they do TVETs,
Yeah.
so that we have hands-on happening. If it's university and your university, if you're in Kenyatta University doing electrical engineering, get that same hands-on. You have 4 years. I don't see why someone who is doing 2 years at a TVET is able to get the skills way better than someone who's done 4
And
years.
maybe to add on, there's a time I did a research. I was doing a research for the Youth Space Kenya. Do you know there's a school called Meru National Polytechnic? They have an engineering program for women for free.
Free.
Yeah, for free. You don't pay anything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's
So
something
look
that
at the
is going to-
empowerment that is going to the TVET. If we put this empowerment to the universities,
it's going to be way more.
way more.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to also to add on to what Ojwang said, which is it would be very unfair for me to graduate and qualify to go to university, and then I do not have that as an option. I think that's the saddest reality of this situation. And it's what the title of the Daily Nation says, harsh reality of new varsity fees. We've just had a look at those harsh realities and how they look like for the long term and in the short term as well. Let me give a shout out to the people who are watching us on the live stream, and then we go back to what the Standard has as the main story there.
Maybe
George
to add something
Muturi.
on the something on the university.
Yes, sure, please go ahead.
You know, a good degree program or the degree system should be something like a pyramid scheme, whereby we have few professionals at the top of the pyramid.
Yeah.
I feel that there is too much accessibility of degrees, of people doing degree courses.
Okay.
I want you to imagine 10, 15 years away from now, whereby in the entire village, you only get one person graduating. And it was something very big. What about nowadays?
Everyone has a degree.
Everyone has a degree. Now, who will be the boss?
Of the other one.
Yeah, so I feel there's too much accessibility. And I feel that in the near future, the Ministry of Education should work on the accessibility of the degree.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know one day I'm going to sit on that table whereby I'll propose a very good education system to work on the education menace that we have now.
Okay.
Not everybody is going to become the boss.
So you're saying we are churning out more than we can absorb in the market?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here I see George Muturi on Facebook, where we are live streaming, and on YouTube as well. Anasema, hi Richard, good to see you. Waiting for a fantastic show. I hope you're having that fantastic show that you are waiting on. Edgar Ndege, today we are up bright and early. Asante sana, Doc. Edgar Ndege, hashtag post-medical interns, KE. I hope they do that very soon. Thank you for tuning into the show. Ezi Ganzel, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Anasema, a good show. Stacy Wairimu, great conversations, Okenye. Robin's Nest saying, keep it going. Trevor Totona, anasema, show ni fire. Fabish Okoth, also following up on the live stream. Sharon Mwaniki, anasema, always a great show. Keep up the good work. Muhaki Mains, anasema, Okenye never disappoints. Keep it up. Asante sana for tuning in for that remark. Justin Akinyi, looking great as usual, Okenye. Asante sana. Great conversations. Yes, tune in to the end. And then we have Lux Life Planners who are saying, good job, Odero in the house. Odero in the house. You've been given a shout out there. Njeri Claire, great to see you, Richard. Great to see you or to hear from you, Njeri. Mugeni Nelly, anasema, Ojwang Mariam, way to go, speak on our behalf. Hope they are listening. I'll be reading more of that feedback. Gentlemen, please let me know what is there on the Standard. I can have Felix handle or Richard, whoever likes to pick it up.
Don't gamble with tax.
Oh, don't gamble with tax. Yeah. That is the headline on the front of the Standard. It says, don't gamble with tax. Captains of industries are warning the government that tinkering with the taxation regime will lead to businesses shutting down, massive job losses, further increase in cost of living, and failure by the taxman to grow tax collection, which negates the whole sense of collection. Gentlemen, the government of Kenya Kwanza has been very insistent on using the tax using tax as a way of turning around our revenues and also killing debt. However, it seems from the reports that are coming out of last year's collection, KRA fell short by 300 billion Kenyan shillings. We are going into another finance bill, which should be enacted very soon into law. And we are likely to see the same thing according to the captains of industry who are warning here that businesses will shut down, others will relocate. And of course, the spending power of Mwananchi goes down. Once you tax me more, it means I spend less. President William Ruto is insistent, President William Ruto is insistent that taxes are a way for us, and he hopes that by the end of his term, tutakuwa tumefika 22%. We are currently at 14%. Yeah, so and I hope that we'll get at 22%. Should we still put faith on the government? I've tried to understand how this is going to help us become a prosperous nation. Some feel like, we should all pay taxes, kila mtu alipe tax, and I agree. However, if you get to 22%, should we be patient enough to wait to get to 22% of taxation, and then maybe we'll benefit from the fruits of taxation? Richard.
I think with faith, for this government, we already lost the faith 100 days in the office. Yeah. So on this issue of tax, I think it is good we pay tax as faithful citizens, as citizens who love our country. But also, when we are paying this tax, how is our money being used?
Okay.
Yeah. We can't pay tax for you to go all over the country. What are you going to do?
So the issue is the spending of that tax. You have no issue paying 30%, 40%, 50%.
Okay. Another issue is this. Also, we need to be more reluctant a bit to these Kenyans, because you see the population. I think the population of unemployed now Kenyans is high. So you are not creating jobs. You are infusing taxes to Kenyans. You are spending more. If you ask me the most concrete project that this government has done so far, I don't see anything.
You can't point out to anything?
Unless I say Ruto is in Korea and he was in USA for a visit.
Yes. Yeah. Those are the achievements that you can point out.
The achievements that I can point out.
Otherwise, what you're saying is we are spending more, we're taxing more, and we are giving less jobs.
We are giving less jobs.
Okay. Kimboy, Felix, how do you see? Can we tax ourselves to 22% and then eventually tutakuwa kama Singapore?
Okay. As a patriotic citizen,
yes,
and also a future legislator, I've gone through the finance bill.
Yes.
What I can just say on the finance bill first and foremost, before I come to your question.
Yeah.
I've just looked at the finance bill and the policies that has been put on agriculture. It's fairly good, not that bad. On businesses, not that good. And the entire finance bill, I can give it 60%.
Okay. Is it better than last year's 2023?
They have modified it a bit, but not that bad.
Okay.
Some very few sections. Maybe I can just mention the sections.
Yes, please do.
I'm against one, the taxation on assets. You cannot tax assets that are not income generating. The 2.5% tax
on motor vehicles.
It's not something good, because one, you cannot tax that small car someone has bought it to take his parents to hospital. You cannot tax that small car someone has just bought it to take his or her children to school. You cannot tax it.
Yes, because it's not generating income.
It's not generating any income. And I did research, how are they going to tax these all cars? And I found that they are going to tax it using the insurance scheme.
Yeah.
The insurance that you pay it annually. They're going to incur that tax on the insurance. So I can say that's not good.
Okay.
Another part is the introduction of tax on the financial services.
Yeah.
People will run away. People will keep their money in blankets.
Under mattresses.
Yeah, which is not safe. They should just repeal that section. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
For an addition to the motor vehicle tax, because the tax is focusing on the insurance. So if I'm insuring my car, I need to insure the person inside the car. So you will make these people, the person who are insuring their cars, to insure only the cars and forget about the third policies, the people.
So they'll move away from those which are comprehensive cars.
The comprehensive
just to make sure
only the car.
they attain the 2.5 that is needed by the government. Okay. So taxation on assets which are not income generating is a big issue which has come up here on this conversation. Ojwang, welcome back. We are talking about the standard. Don't gamble with tax. Captains of industries are warning that watatoka Kenya, watafuta watu kazi na watafunga biashara because the further increase in cost of living due to the finance bill is not making a lot of sense for them. I don't know if it's making sense for you. We've had the gentleman's submissions.
Hiyo itakuwa na only one advantage. There's something that is happening in the country, sorry, Richard Okenye. Ukiangalia vizuri that wakati sisi tulikuwa tunasoma tukiwa primary, tulikuwa tunasoma about tea and coffee being the product that we export the most.
Yes.
But today we are talking about something different. The president will go to Germany, akirudi watatuambia wametutafutia nafasi za kazi 250k. Hao ndo wataenda. Saa hizi tunaongezea tax kwa magari. That means mimi nikitaka kununua gari ndogo nifanye ride hailing itakuwa ngumu.
Yes.
Kwa hivyo nitafanya aje? Nitasave pesa kidogo niende Canada. Nifike Canada ninunue gari huko na nikae huko. Sawa? Wale ambao watabaki huku ni wananchi pekee. When I say wananchi, I mean the big percentage. Na hii big percentage ni hii hadi yenye yendi university. Kwa sababu tukiendelea hivyo university inakuwa ni ya watu few, businesses haziko, bado utaambiwa for you to be a governor you need a degree. Sawa, ulishindwa kusoma. Kwa nini? Bado ushuru. Ukiongezea ushuru kwa haka kitu kadogo, alafu unasikia wale ambao wako na mabiashara. Leo ni biashara Tuesday.
Yes.
Mabonyenye wa biashara washaanza kuweka warning that if you continue to do this, then sisi kama investors tutaondoka. Investors wakiondoka, kwani sasa kila mtu atakuwa na dudhi yake? Investors wakiondoka, kwani kila mtu atakuwa carpenter, atakuwa anajiundia vitu zake? Hata hiyo bado itakuwa useless.
Okay.
So we need to be looking at these things. Lawmakers wanafaa kuangalia hizi vitu.
All right. Okay. Daily Nation, that was the standard. Of course, the top story there being don't gamble with tax. The other thing that I'd like to inform you, gents, is that your contribution towards the housing levy, which is something that I'm sure we are all aware of, is being used. I don't want to call it gambling. They are calling it investment because they're putting it in bonds. Now some of the returns will be invested elsewhere. So they're investing my money, but the captains of industry are saying not gamble with tax. And I see here the people who have been highlighted as the captains of industry is the country manager East Africa for Tata, which is of course that motor vehicle company. We have the ISPAC chairman. Of course, this wale watu wote wa taxation wako under ISPAC, they know of this Venture Capital Association CEO, American Chamber of Commerce, and also KEPSA, which is on that private sector alliance. The CEO of KEPSA says this additional operational cost will make businesses less profitable and result in higher prices for consumers. So that's a very dire situation reflected on the front of the Standard, and you can read for yourself on page 4 of the Standard. Do you have something to say?
Yeah.
Yes.
Na inabani sikuwa nataka upite.
Sikuachi.
As a country,
yes,
we need to be listening to these investors. For example, how ambao wana deal na Tata. Ndo watu kuwa na malori fulani zenye hutumika kubeba michanga, kubeba mawe when you are seeing barabara zikijengwa.
Yes.
So waajiri wao ama wanaajiri nani sana? Wanaajiri hawa watu tunatuma TVET wafanye masonry. Hao ndio wanakuja kujenga barabara. Na wenye watabeba mchanga, watabeba kokoto, watabeba lami, wanasema sisi tunaona tukimalizana na hii biashara.
Kweli.
So hiyo point ni muhimu. Sikiza hawa. You know, this country has a lot of talent in terms of thinking. Look at people like the likes of David Ndii. But what are they doing right now? They're just sitting idle in State House wakingojea kichele. wako hapo wanasema tafadhali rais usitucheleweshe kichele. But they are not thinking. Why? Because they are not being given that chance to think or to give their ideas. Because I don't believe we would be here if we would be listening to these technocrats and experts.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, something for President William Ruto to think about definitely there. Guys, let's celebrate something. Sindio? To change mood kidogo before we look at anything else that might dampen our mood. On page 2 of the Daily Nation, there is a tuna export mingi sana. Tuna export labor sana. We are aware that the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom has, heritage traced back to Kenya. We know that where else? Ilikuwa wapi pale kwingine? Apart from Obama, we have Sunak, and I will remember the other one. But now, still in the UK, a Kenyan has become the first black mayor in Northern Ireland. She was inaugurated yesterday, and is Senator Olekina's sister. Yes, sister to Senator Olekina from Narok. So Kenyan woman who has made history after being elected councillor in Northern Ireland, United Kingdom, as the first black mayor. And they're pictured here with Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna, who was there to witness it, and also nominated Senator Margaret Kamar, and the mayor herself. She's called Mayor Lilian Senoi Bar. Mayor Lilian Senoi Bar. Congratulations to her. What do you just have to say? Yeah, and especially Felix, who is very focused on leadership matters. We have here our first black mayor. Uko nje. Tuna export more than, TVET and that level of expertise. Anything to celebrate there from you, gents?
From me, I think congratulations to the lady.
Yes.
And also this just shows that women are able.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Felix?
First and foremost, I just seen it on TikTok today morning before I came here.
Okay.
And I would like to say congratulations to the family of Olekina. He's my good friend.
Okay.
And this is a plus for Kenyans. By the way, Wakenya wanajituma huku nje.
Kila mahali actually.
Wakenya wanajituma. Yeah.
Tunajituma sana. Ni vile sometimes unajituma Kenya lakini ni kama results hazipo.
True.
Ni kama ukikanyaga tu nje hivi. Like ndo hii the fruits of my labor.
Hata ukichelewa hiyo kujituma unatumiwa.
Unatumika.
So first of all, congratulations to Olekina's sister. That is a big milestone.
Yes.
This is closer home than Sunak's or Obama's. Yeah, it's closer home.
It's way closer actually.
So we have to appreciate that fact that we are going somewhere.
So we do have leaders.
We have leaders. Right? We have everything.
Why don't we have her here in Kenya as president? Or Nairobi governor? If we can export this kind of leadership, as you said, it seems we are stifling the people who are supposed to be voicing the opinions that are progressive. Because when we witness it outside the nation, it seems to be working. Lakini tukiwa hapa internally, there seems to be a problem. Maybe you gents can tell me where the problem is.
The problem, Richard, is that the Kenyan democratic system is very much local. That's why you'll see it's very hard to see these professionals, technocrats, to get into politics. They cannot survive the political mood.
Okay.
The political mood is very much hot. You can ask me because I'm always in the ground in the weekends. If you cannot be able to vibe with the citizens there, you'll not get to these positions. And the way these people do to entice these citizens there, these professionals cannot do them.
Yeah.
You'll not get these Olekina sisters coming to campaign in Kenya.
Yeah.
You'll be kicked off because
you have no position.
Yeah, the political mood is very hot.
The politics that is played in Kenya is different.
Yeah. Very hard.
If she tried to be governor of Nairobi County, itakuwa ngumu sana.
Very hard.
What do we do then? Maybe Richard can tell me. What do we do? Do we change the whole style of politics? I'm a journalist, right? Here on KUTV Biashara Tuesday. If I wanted to become governor of Kisii County, it seems from Felix, itakuwa ngumu sana mimi kwenda kuambia mambo ya civic education, to tell them about the finance bill. There's a way I need to vibe with them. Should we maintain that trajectory? And it means because we are putting people in power clearly who aren't supposed to be most of the time. And amesema it's the politics that we play here doesn't allow experts and technocrats to get into power. What do we do?
I think the Kenyan politics is too dirty for the professionals. You can't go in.
Okay.
It's too dirty. So I think what we need to do, I think we need to sensitize more on the voters, because the voters are the ones who make decisions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sensitization in terms of
I think now we need to lobby these groups, these the NGOs, to sensitize more on the voters.
Okay.
Because more of the voters in Kenya, they only listen. They don't really go and see the profile of a politician.
All right.
Then also you see also the names you are giving to these people. I think politicians. In America, they're called leaders.
Okay. Leaders, politicians.
Leaders and politicians.
Lakini kuna
politicians only say good things that you want to hear.
Kuna mahali ningetaka at least correct kiasi.
Okay.
You know, he is another rich man on this bench.
Yes, we have two rich men.
So I wouldn't want rich men to be to be telling us things that may be problematic in future. When you say that Kenyan politics is too dirty for professionals, manze huo ni uongo. Because these politics are a reflection. Politics is a reflection of the people. Sawa.
Yeah,
so if you say that the politics is dirty, it means we are all dirty. Si uliumbwa na matope. So haimaanishi mwenye ako profession ameenda akaoga akabadilika. Ni the same people, ni the same animals in this, and the same pigs in this animal farm, because we are living in an animal farm.
Yes.
Sawa. That is why hata Barack Obama, former president,
ajaribu kuwa MCA,
ajaribu kukuja hapa Kenya kukuwa MCA, itakuwa ngumu. Si ati haiwezi, itakuwa ngumu, because the Kenya has had leaders who are still there. People like Professor or Dr. Mukisa Kitui. He wanted to be the president of this country.
But you don't give him a chance.
Hatukumpatia chance.
Okay.
Angalia another technocrat, Jimmy Wanjigi. Jimmy Wanjigi is an economic master. Hapa kwa akili ule mjamaa unamsikizaga unakuwa rich just from listening. Look at the policies he talks about in all these media houses. You will see the guy is wise, and he's a living proof. He has been there. It has worked. He's among the people who are in the boardrooms deciding how Kenya will have a super highway, how Kenya will have a standard gauge railway. Na hizo ndo vitu zilikuwa zinafanya wa fund gava 2013, but sasa hiyo gava ikufika, yeye na David Lagat wakarushwa nje katika huo mpango. But what if us as Kenyans, we give such people opportunities to lead this country? For example, one day Kenya iamue that inataka Jimmy Wanjigi kama president, alafu yeke Okia Omtata kama DP wake. Manze tungekuwa na country smart sana. Lakini
we are all in the same pigsty.
The politics are tribal.
Okay.
We have to accept that.
Yes.
Sawa. And we change that ikuwe a positive thing. Such that wewe kama mwanahabari, you will take civic education pale kwa ground. Sawa. Okay. For example, kwa shughuli mimi ufanya Roysambo kama kutangaza mpira, hapo hivyo wanaalika watu, unakuja una interact na sisi, si ndio? Ukikuja hapo hivyo, let these people know at least roles za hao viongozi wao, and why you should be electing people on issue based politics.
Yes.
And not tribal.
Okay.
But usisahau hata ukielectiwa, at least ukwe kwa party yenye iko kwa hiyo tribe, because we've said we cannot escape the fact that Kenya's politics is tribal. Sawa. So when Rais says tanga everywhere, it's a good thing. But as you tanga, usikuje kutuambia umeleta rambirambi za mwenda zake, unaacha 1 million, unakuwa umeshaosha pesa, unaishia. Give us something, tell us something.
Yes.
And when you tell us something, don't tell us vile naibu rais ni mbaya, rais ni mbaya, governor ni mbaya.
Tuambie vile wewe ni mzuri. Tuambie
vile wewe ni mzuri. Jipigie debe. Because hapo kwa kujipigia debe, you'll be selling your ideas that you have, and you'll not be selling yourself.
Okay.
Also, Wakenya wazoee kuongea at personal level. Tukipatana hapa hivi na Kemboi. Kemboi is Kemboing from where? Upande wa Baringo. Sawa. Nitoke hapa hivyo nipatane na 2 rich men. Mmoja anatoka kule Lakeside, mwingine ni Okenye atoke upande wa Kisii. When we converse, we will converse about ideas that can help this country. Yes. Lakini tuko wapi? Kwa ground kwenye Kemboi anasema. Ndio tukipatana tribal politics iko tukatai.
Yes.
But in that small community, you can do a lot.
Yes.
So,
all right.
I just want to come in and say why I said this politics about
it's dirty.
Yeah, it's dirty. I've been to politics, student politics. Felix has been to student politics. I tell you one thing. You go to people, a crowd, you tell the people, I want to build this. They will not listen to you. These people want you to hit your competitor hard. That's why we see Gachagua telling Uhuru, you said this, you say this is that professional people can't, you can't hear professional people issuing insults, doing this. So unless we now educate our voters, we sensitize them. Yes. Now you need to listen a leader. This.
Yes,
you don't know, because you go to a crowd. I've been to a crowd, a political rally. People are just waiting to hear that nimetembea na kachai kidogo, nikimaliza mkutano. Now that's where they will howl and shout. But the time that the politicians say I need to build this and this, hakuna mtu anakusikiza.
But I think also the challenge there is because we don't know if he is mandated to do that. You notice during a political campaign, MCA atasema anatengeza barabara, MP asema anatengeza barabara, governor asema pia anatengeza. Yani everyone is probably just copy pasting manifestos across each other. So ukikuja kwa Mkenya and you're trying to become an MCA, uambie hii barabara kutoka hapa hadi huko Kiunguro nitatengeneza. MP next week akuja niambie pia the same thing. It gets to a point where there's nothing much to listen from these people other than aniambie, as you said, amebeba ngapi na atanipatia sangapi. But yes, the positive proposition comes in that as you're in those engagement forums, ambia watu MC anafanyanga hivi. When we had just this discussion a few minutes ago with the advocate on air, which is Philip, who said, tell them MCA anashughulikia hii na hii. So akikuja anza kukwambia atajengea unajenga hospitali kama nani? Mwambia relax, just tell us the things that you are mandated to do, so that it's easier even for citizens to know and discern between who is an expert and who is just politicking, right?
And these politicians with goodwill hata wao wanaweza sukuma civic education.
Yes.
Si hao watu wanataka kujua ni saa ngapi unawapatia hizi pesa. Juu wanataka pesa. Mama mboga anataka kakitu pale chini. Au vijana wa bodaboda wanataka kakitu. Do this. Sawa. You have money. Wewe ni mnoma kutuliko. Juu wewe uko na pesa. Chukua hizi pesa, organize wa mama. Sema leo ni wa mama. Kwa hiyo zamu ya wa mama, ingia, waambie wakuje kama kwa hall. Sawa. Waambie andikeni majina. Sawa. Na mweke hizo vitu zenye wanatakaga waeke ndio pesa zitumwe. But before kuwapatia hizi pesa, they will listen to your agenda. Na wako kwa hall ni yenye iko controlled. It's controlled. Kama wewe utaki kunisikiza, basi nyanyua kiguu, angalia njia. Sawa. Mimi nimekuja hapa kutenda wema, na wema wangu hawezi kuwa tu hivi. I can't just come and give you my money.
Pushing out money.
Yeah, right. I must teach you something that you will live to remember. Kwa hawa watu 50 utapatia kila mtu 500. Zitakuwa ngapi? 25k.
Kila mtu 500.
25,000.
Yes.
Umetumia 25,000, umeelimisha watu wangapi? 50. Si ndio? Kwa hao 50 wenye utaelimisha, kuna wenye walidoze. Hao ni kama 10. Lakini at the end of it all, kuna at least half who will go home knowing the roles of an MCA, knowing the roles of an MP, knowing the roles of a governor, and knowing why I want to be an MP. Sawa?
Okay.
Na umewape civic education proper.
Na bado umepiga campaign.
Na pesa.
All right.
Campaign.
Also, another thing I think, also voters were falling into the trap of the politicians, whereby we allow to be told too much that is a lie.
We have accepted it.
We accepted it. So, also as voters, we need also to measure these people.
Yeah.
Like, you see, you will find like a person like, there's a time I was hearing something with Oscar Sudi. He was saying, I don't need to go to parliament. Now, this a person who has been voted in
to go to
parliament 3 times.
Yes.
But he says, I don't need to go to parliament. Kuna wale wa kuongea uko parliament.
Yes. There's a problem with a collective conditioning.
Yeah. Na huyu mtu akisimama bado
bado tutamweka ndani.
So,
na unajua anakudanganya lakini bado tutamweka.
Then also to these rallies, I think also the politician need to put more focus on where the impact will be achieved. Because mimi nikihire a crowd to say ndawaambia kitu, watasikia kitu mimi nawaambia. Na most people who go to this crowd hata si watu wako na say sana. It's only a person mwenye haya ndapewa 200 na huyu hata mtu hata vote. Sikia kuvote yako kwa uko kwa hizo vitu Gachagua anapigana na
maybe to add on something.
Yes, Felix has something to say.
You know, you'll find that these people again use the problems that the normal wananchi have as a political tool.
Yeah.
Where I come from, Baringo County, you know what's really disturbing us there is banditry.
Yes.
This banditry, since I was born,
has been an issue.
The same politicians, banditry is their campaigning tool.
Tutamaliza bandits.
They have been campaigning it in 2002, 2007, 2013, 2017, 2022. And now, let me just speak it because today I'm privileged to be in KUTV. I think today, the 2022 will be the last election in Baringo County, whereby we have politicians campaigning on banditry as a political tool. It is very much punitive, primitive to the citizens. You know, I really feel what those people go through. They go through a lot. And with the current generation, us now, I'm 23 years old. As far as we have learned, I'm a student of public administration and leadership. I know how to deal with citizens. And as far as matters to do with security is concerned,
yes,
it should just be left to the security apparatus
to deal with it.
The politicians should just move out of it.
Stay away from it.
Because they are the ones altering the rate of insecurity there.
Yes.
So they should just leave it there. And I think 2022 will be the last year in Baringo County whereby politicians will not campaign against banditry. It's very bitter.
Yes, I have a question for you there, Felix, which is, I like what you're proposing there, that, you know, we should avoid such matters, especially when it comes to things that will be handled outside of politics, kama security. That's something that's completely 100% outside of politics domain. This is something the national government will always handle regardless of what government is in power. Because tuko na KDF, we have security personnel, we have the police force, which is something that is infinite as compared to the terms of a government. Richard Odero said earlier that, you know, inakuwa very hard for an expert like yourself who's now gone through school and studied public administration to stand in front of people and tell them policy-based issues. How would you do it differently when it comes to Baringo, given that all the other politicians watakuja wasimame kwa podium waseme mambo ya bandits tutadeal nayo, mambo ya bandits tunapambana nayo, and thus the people will hear it. Is there space for you to come and say, you know, tuachana mambo ya bandits, hapa tuna barabara, hapa tuna hospitali, hapa tuna stima? Is there still space for that?
You know, for example, a county like Baringo, we only lack 3 things. 1 is strategy. 2 is policies. 3 is competence.
Okay.
We'll find that the policies that we have there does not favor the normal wananchi. Speaking of the banditry, you know those people they scramble over the limited resources,
yes,
water and pasture for their animals. So that you see, so that you'll also see them fighting every day, in, out, daily.
Yes.
So the solution is provide them with water pans, very many water pans, put them to electricity so that they can actually see the other part of the world. You know, in those regions, there's no TV.
Like shut off.
There's no TV.
World.
They should connect electricity. They should focus on the socio-economic part of it, rather than the putting more police officers. It's very relevant because they'll just continue because they're fighting over the limited resources. 2, on the policies. On the county like Baringo County now, I was just seeing, I was from home some 2 days ago or 3 days. You'll see that Baringo County, there's plenty of sunlight. Plenty of sunlight. But what do you see on the street lights? The street lights that is around the towns, that is Kabarnet, Marigat, Eldama Ravine, Mogotio. The towns uses the electric floodlights. They pay millions of bills to KPLC. Yet we have plenty of sunlight. Yes. That's all about policy. We don't have good policy that favor our people.
Okay.
And that's the work now that I'm focusing to do in future.
Right.
And I'm very determined, and I know I'm going to do it.
And that will handle that third part, which is competency.
Yes.
We have a shortage of competent leaders.
Yeah.
Okay. Ojong, you had something to say, I think.
Okenye.
Okay.
Yeah, I have something.
He always have something to say. Say it.
Kenyans need to be bold. Kenyans need to be honest with themselves. Juu hii shida yote ni wa Kenya. Kenyans should be bold enough to ask Speaker Wetangula, when you were elected, you were Kenya Kwanza. But when you become Speaker, you become National Assembly Speaker.
Become Kwanza Kenya.
Kwanza Kenya, not Kenya Kwanza. Inakuaje kuna 86 sessions wabunge wana miss and you cannot tell them anything?
Oscar Sudi EG.
Yeah, for example, Oscar Sudi, who has been on public record telling Kenyans that mimi sishindagi nikienda hiyo bunge. Kuna watu wa kuenda kwa hiyo bunge. Mimi niulizeni vile nitaenda Tanzania, ni watafutie kichele, kisichelewe. Ndio nikikuja katika hii mikutano yenyu, maombolezi, nini, nimebeba nini?
Niweke mbele.
But una fail on representation. Your role as an MP, your representation, una fail. So Kenyans should be bold enough and honest enough to tell Moses Wetangula, as a speaker, if you cannot do this, if you cannot keep the house in order, resign.
Get out.
Sasawa.
Yes.
Same Kenyans, if they are bold enough and honest enough, they should go to those MPs who have missed these sessions. Sasawa. Waambie wewe, tunakurecall.
Yes.
You are not representing us. You are representing the people of Tanzania.
Yes.
Sasawa.
I see it.
So, resign, tafuta kiti ya Yala, ukue na sasa nguvu ya kutembea.
Tanzania.
Ukue unaenda Tanzania.
Yeah.
Sasawa, utafute suluhu huko. Kwa sababu we believed in you that ukienda kwa bunge ya Kenya, you will give us that suluhu to this barabara shida yake, to this security shida yake, but how to represent.
Right.
Na sisi tumenyamaza. Kwa nini? Hata akikuja hapa hivi, ataongea hivyo vyote, akuwa mpiaro, atutusi na atupatie milioni 1. See, the enemy is poverty.
Yes.
They will focus on the money and not on keeping these leaders on check.
Yes.
Makosa ni nani?
Makosa ni yetu.
Yes.
Right, citizens. I remember us having this conversation with Nick Mwadime Mwangi, who kept saying that he blames the citizens. And just off air in just a few minutes ago, we spoke to Philip Mwangale, who also said we are all sharing from this. Let's imagine a pizza table. Wewe ni mwananchi pale, hiyo side nyingine unakula kale ka piece ulipatiwa. Huyu mwingine ako hapo anakula piece kubwa, lakini wewe una complain ukikula. Unapiga kelele ukikula, instead of keeping this guy on the other end into check, so that they are also following through with what the mandate is giving them in the constitution. The other thing is, I like what you pointed out there in terms of looking at who these MPs are who are skipping sessions. Now, unaenda unawatafuta. We have a democratic process that doesn't end just at the elections. Usha-elect, ushaingia parliament, ushaingia kwa serikali. But bado naweza kurudisha.
I can recall.
Yes, that's the thing that we normally forget. Just go look at that list who have missed the 86 sessions. Enda kwa ofisi yake, mwambie mbona ana miss sessions na anaongeanga nini, because they're supposed to be making decisions every Tuesday and Thursday of the week. Right. So let's move away from that, because we only have 3 minutes. We'll have 3 minutes, like completely 3 minutes. So I'm going to allow you, gentlemen, if there's a story you've seen that you'd like to say for under a minute, we point out as you do your final remarks as well. Let me start with Richard. Is there something that...
Okay, I'll just point up on this story of Linturi.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it is high time for them just to put aside this guy.
Yeah.
It's enough.
Okay.
You see now, agriculture is the core business of Kenya. Now, if you are putting an incompetent person to do that, this is very wrong.
Yes. All right. Bwana Felix, is there something of importance that we might have left from the papers that you are handling there?
What I can just say, still on the finance bill.
Yes.
And I feel and urge our MPs, because the finance bill is being handled by the National Assembly, led by the majority leader, Kimani Ichung'wah. I can just urge them to look at some very, very important areas where it affects the life of the normal wananchi.
Yes.
Because life is really hard outside here. Citizens are going through a lot. And if you look, we are now remaining with exactly 2.5 years to election, considering that we only have 2025, because if you are in, the Kenyan politics, 2026 will be
campaigning period.
So these people only have this remaining part of 2024, of which it's really ending.
Yeah.
Meaning they only have 2025 to work on the citizens. So I think this finance bill is very, very important, and they should utilize their time on it. Do some review on the places that requires review. For example, this is the 2.5% of the vehicle tax, and some very, very important issues, especially matters to do with agriculture, business, and education. They should look at it critically. Thank you very much.
Our key pain points, those.
Yeah.
Agriculture, education, security as well. Ojong Mariam.
Okay. On my part, I think I need to say this.
Yes.
Sisi kama wa Kenya, we need to exercise 3 values. Ikiwezekana, kila mtu akae chini, ajisomee, ajiweke na ajitrain. Kitu cha kwanza, Kenyans need to be calm, Kenyans need to be patient, and Kenyans need to be tolerant. Sawa?
Yes.
Why am I saying this? On Daily Nation, page 3, a 19-year-old assaulted and fought on camera in a record akipiga traffic officer. Do you know why? Kenyans are angry. Kila mtu amejaza stress. Sawa? What we are forgetting ni Ian Njoroge, 19 years of age, yeye akona stress, yeye akona mashida zake. Lakini hata huyo polisi wa trafiki, hata yeye akona shida
shida zake mingi.
So, if we don't become calm, patient and tolerant, then tutauana. Kwa sababu unakaa unasikia KDF na Kenya Police wamepigana.
Nashangaa inakuaje tena? Sawa. Kijana fulani 19 years kamekula vizuri, kamevaa jezi ya Lakers ya Jordan number 23, kameweka kanguvu kiasi, alafu Karawa anamwambia nye itafanya utwangwe. Utaongeza bubu mbele.
But what happens if you twanga a traffic police officer? You will be raided on.
And you'll be twangwad as well.
Especially if you are a man. You will be pinched. You will be slapped. You will be disciplined. Sawa?
Yes.
And you will go to hospital. Umeanza shida zingine za tukochangie kwa sababu uko hospitali, mara umevunjika, mara umefanya nini. Solution ni gani? Kenyans need to be calm. Kenyans need to be patient and tolerant with each other.
I like that. Thank you very much, Ojong Mariam. Thank you very much, Felix.
Thank you.
And thank you very much, Richard, for that time. We'll just like us to end it here. It's 9:57 in the morning. Thank you for all those who tuned in to this show. Check out the rest of the headlines which are there within the dailies. For example, that story of the young man who was beating up a police officer. You can read the whole operation on page 3. And page 4, wanasema trade lobby urges MPs to reduce motor vehicle tax. Insurers have rejected the new taxes in the finance bill. Captains of industries are saying they're going to shut down businesses. And there was a tanker blast, which I highlighted in the traffic updates, which happened yesterday around Feather Estate. So you can also read up on that one. And the new varsity funding model, which is the headline of the Daily Nation, the harsh reality of new varsity fees. given that student politics peers ilikuwa stifled with a new act, itakuwa very hard for students associations kutetea their students. But hopefully, the more we have this kind of discourses, we are progressing in terms of ideas. Thank you very much, gents.
Thank you. Sure.
All right. Thank you also for tuning in from home at KUTV Kenya. This has been Rise Today. The edition is Biashara Tuesday. Thank you for having or sending us your feedback also on social platforms. Please do follow the rest of KUTV's broadcasting. Follow me on social platforms where I have these conversations outside of TV at Richard_Okenye. Rise Today will come back next week on Monday. It comes to you from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. On Monday, you have Ojong Mariam, who is there. Yes. Ojong Mariam on Monday from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Art and Culture Monday. Alafu mimi Tuesday, kama kawaida, Biashara Tuesday. I'm going to leave you with one word that may your profits be high this week, but your sense of humor should be way higher so that you can laugh all the way to the bank. I'll see you around.